Hello, friends. Let us explore what Seth has to say to us in the second chapter. Seth says that changing forms and impermanence are a part of his dimension. Seth calls himself a teacher who loves to use creative ways to teach. In his communication with Jane, he has used only a small portion of his essence. Seth says that gender is not a part of his identity, but he can choose whichever gender he wants to project. Choice of form or gender rests on inner thoughts, specific chemical reactions, and requirements of the situation in his dimension. We can choose to project our form while we are asleep in another place. This is what is called translocation, which many saints like Padre Pio were capable of doing. They created forms with awareness and could connect telepathically without the use of human language, but through electromagnetic energy. Emotional intensity is the foundation or building material of his creativity. Seth says that their use of emotions is different from ours, but Seth advocates using emotions in the right way. Sometimes human beings, we exaggerate our emotions. So that is what Seth means by using emotions in the right way. Seth says that they are not afraid of emotions, and control of emotions is not preferred, but only the right way of using emotions is advisable in his dimension. He says that multidimensional beings adapt according to various realities. Time has no meaning for them, but they take cognizance of time in other dimensions because they have to. They exist in other dimensions as well. Only one moment point exists in their dimension, and things are done at that moment point. Seth explains that he has to just think of a person and all his past, present, and motivations, aspirations would be immediately revealed. He can experience it himself. Seth has something to say about vacation, which is very interesting. He says that for relaxations, he visits simple life forms and blends with them. He could spend a century as a tree as an uncomplicated form in another reality. Dear friends, welcome to the Mind Maverick Rosalind Bosco. Now we are looking at the second chapter of Seth's experience as he narrates through Jane. Seth explains that changing forms is a part of his current status. The stages of evolution of his consciousness have helped him to reach this higher level of changing forms. Seth says that we try to explain away our intuitive senses through logical explanations. This is for human beings. For example, he says that if we feel that a room is smaller than usual, even if the measurement of the room remains the same, the entire psychological impact of the room would have altered, and others may also experience it the same way. This is quite interesting, isn't it? That our mental picture of a certain a place or a room can change a reality for ourselves as well as others. So this seems incredible to us, but Seth says that it's true. We believe that our physical forms are permanent and ignore the minute changes happening to us every day. Seth explains that we do not have a single universe. There are many more varieties of consciousness residing in their own reality, which we as human beings are unaware of. Seth says that they are able to visit these, we are also able to visit those realms in our dream state, that is, in our astral bodies. We can manipulate and change our physical realities through the changes we make in the astral realm. That is, when we sleep. We automatically do this without even being aware of it. But a few people are able to experience their astral travels. As you could see in YouTube, friends, if you look, you can see people explaining their astral experiences where they go out of their physical bodies when they sleep. Seth says that just as this environment is not constant, our environment is also constantly changing through our telepathic communications with others. I would like to explain Seth's words with an example. If you change your enmity towards a person in your thoughts, then telepathically your relationship or your reality with that person can change, even though you may not be aware of it egotistically. Seth says humans use the inner sense all the time, but are not aware of it at the level of our egos. If we are able to perceive it, we would see reality in a completely different dimension. Seth even goes to say that our living room may appear as a synthesis of molecules and any other particles that compose it. We could get down to the core of reality and even see the uh, molecules or the quarks or the most minimum level of the atom, or even the energy form of a molecule. Seth says that it would be possible to see a phosphorescent like glow of the molecules. It would be possible to enter a molecule and study the world and the room from the perspective of a molecule. How interesting would that be, dear friends? But this is possible for Seth in that dimension. Seth says that if we use our inner senses, we can become conscious co creators rather than remain unconscious creators of our lives. Humans judge other realities because we believe in only one permanent form, and that is our human form. Seth says that in his dimension, time is not measured by afternoon or night, but by the intensity of every experience. Science has not understood that perception and creation are connected. Seth says something here that is fantastic. He says that a tree is different to a microbe or a bird or an insect and to a man who is seeing it. It does not only appear different to each of these organisms, its nature also differs according to the different perceptions. For example, a microbe, an insect, a bird, and a man view a tree differently. A human being only experiences a tree from his or her own perspective. This does not mean that physical reality is false. It only means that various consciousness experience reality in their own perceptive ways. According to Seth, consciousness offers a variety of scope in creativity. He says that unlike our creativity, they can create a our creativity is where we can create only a three-dimensional painting on a piece of paper, but whereas in his dimension exploring various dimensional effects is possible. Seth even says that the past and present can be experienced simultaneously. For example, if your dad has 8 favorite chairs in his lifetime, you would be able to perceive it all at the same time in Seth's world of perception. So you could just synthesize the past and the present together. Seth says that our own consciousness is aware of the truth of all that he says, but our egotistical self is not aware of this knowledge and tries to block this knowledge from us. As Anita Moorjani said in her book, The NDE Experiencer, Anita Moorjani said in her book, Dying to Be Me, about her near death experience, where she explains that a human life only shines its torch or focus on one reality, but there are many more realities around us. We are able to perceive and understand reality only through our 5 senses. We are conditioned to ignore all the other realities, but Seth says that we can wake up from our trance. He says that he will give more insights on his existence, purpose, and his work and goals in the next chapter. Dear friends, I hope that you found this very interesting. If you like it, please like, subscribe, and share with others, and read my books on Amazon and Notion Press. Goddess Abax, The Brimstone Fire Fallacy, Highlights of A Course in Miracles, and Co-Create with Your Universe, where I speak about the different principles you can use to co-create your reality along with the universe, as Seth says in Seth Speaks. So thank you for listening to me. This is Rosalind Bosco, the Mind Maverick, signing off.